Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Lubbock versus Corpus Christi, one place that I have lived in the past and one place that I currently live in. We're going to cover everything from cost of living to weather to what you can do in each city and healthcare, groceries, everything. So if you're interested about moving to Lubbock or Corpus, hopefully this video will be pretty informative to you. And with that, let's jump into it. So now let's look at who actually lives in Lubbock versus Corpus as far as age goes. For Lubbock, it's around 30 years old. Corpus, about 6-year difference, so 36 years old. And Lubbock was actually named one of the top places, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, best place to move to for a young professional because of the housing, the income, and all that. So next, let's talk about cost of housing, Lubbock versus Corpus. So how much does it cost to live in Lubbock versus Corpus? Well, Lubbock is about 3% cheaper overall for cost of living as opposed to Corpus. And with housing, you're actually going to be spending about 5% more on a home in Corpus as opposed to Lubbock. And if you zoom out a little bit, the overall actual housing costs in Corpus are 12% more than Lubbock. So if you take a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in both cities that are around 1,200 square feet. Well, for Lubbock, you're going to pay about $152,000, and for Corpus, you're going to be almost $196,000. So that's a huge difference, between the actual biggest purchase of a lot of people's lives. So keep that in mind too, where you're moving. Next, let's talk about healthcare. So while you might be spending a little bit more on housing in Corpus as opposed to Lubbock, you probably can save on healthcare. Surprisingly, Corpus is 9.2% less overall for a doctor's visit. Let's kind of put that in perspective. If you're going to have a baby in Lubbock versus Corpus, well, in Lubbock, you're going to expect to spend about $7,700. And for Corpus, it's around $6,900. So I guess depending on how many babies you have, that can kind of add up. But overall, healthcare is definitely less expensive in Corpus versus Lubbock. Next, let's talk about weather. Surprisingly, if you're looking to get a tan, well, Corpus is probably not the place. Lubbock actually has more sunny days on average as opposed to Corpus. And obviously a big difference between Corpus and Lubbock is the humidity. Lubbock is infamously or famously dry, whereas Corpus has tons of humidity. Now, there's also something that comes with that humidity, and that's mosquitoes. They're terrible down there. They're really bad. All right, so Lubbock, obviously housing cost is a lot lower, and with Corpus, healthcare, a lot cheaper. What are you gonna do in each of these cities if you live there, besides work or die or whatever? What are you gonna do for fun? Well, for Lubbock, you obviously have the Texas Tech games that you can go to, and you also have the First Friday Art Trail, which is the first Friday of every month, downtown area here in Lubbock. You also have the Science Spectrum, which has a IMAX movie theater in it as well, and it's awesome for kids. Just let them go, run around, dig up dinosaur bones, play with bubbles, and learn, right? You also have the new Buddy Holly Theater, which has a ton of shows, everything from ballet to classical symphony concerts, to even comedy shows and other concerts as well. Like, it's actually a really awesome venue. They've got great food there as well. Now for Corpus, obviously you have a lot more to do just because it's definitely a larger city and has about 100,000 people more. You have an old decommissioned aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington. You have the Texas State Aquarium, which is awesome. You can go pet stingrays, actually. They don't have barbs, but it's pretty fun. And the otters are pretty cute. I remember going there. It's fun. So they have a ton of stuff to do in Corpus. You can also go see the Hooks play at Whataburger Stadium. They used to have an ice hockey team down there. They don't anymore, but they also have a really cool venue as well, kind of like the Buddy Holly one. Not as cool, but they still have a ton of shows there. So there's something to do in both places, but if I was choosing just based on the amount to do and the variety, I would probably choose Corpus. And that's purely because you have a larger city, more people, more things to do. Now, Lubbock is obviously growing quite a bit, so there's more stuff being built and there's more people moving to Lubbock. So eventually, I would probably sway more to Lubbock on things to do. Now, I hope this was super beneficial if you're considering moving from anywhere to Corpus, to Lubbock. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm Nate Toffner with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate here in Lubbock, Texas, and we'll catch you on the next one.